So the end of the season for the Premier League happened, and I'm not gonna lie, I made my prediction at the beginning of the year, seeing and believing that I would say, "Oh, I did decent, I did great, or I did horribly," depending on my picks, which I thought it would be okay or decent, not horribly off. And of course, I was horribly off. And of course, I wanted to see how bad or horrible I did in my picks. And from what I'm seeing, I did horribly. Just looking at the first one. From what I'm seeing, I had Forest at the very bottom, of course, on the relegation, and look where they came up. They're in 7th. And I think this was before Leeds were Southampton, or before there was a Southampton in the tier list, so I just chose them as Southampton. And from that, I got the 2 correct of Southampton and Ipswich, but I had Leicester moving on instead, and that was wrong. It was somewhat close, but not really. I had Fulham and Bournemouth at the bottom. Bournemouth was 9th, Fulham was 11th. Yeah, they're not the closest. The closest was Fulham, and not even that close. Still 4 spots above. What happened to me, man? Moving on from disastery, from there, we have 14th and above. I had Wolves down here. Of course, Wolves were very close. I thought they would be relegated, but no, they barely make it out. They're in 16th. A little bit. I put them a little bit too high, but who cares? Okay. Everton, yes, they're in the correct spot. They're in 13th, and I had them around 11 to 14th. I'm glad with that because I thought I would be horrible with that one. Brentford, they're 10th, so I was very close, but not really at the same time. Brighton, that was a shocker. Brighton were 8th, and they did above what I expected. That was very good for them, in my opinion. They did shockingly good from what I opinion, and had good young players that I still think would be better off. So, not correct as well at the same time. From my count, I have 4 correct right now, and that is not good at all from the first ones we see. With that, we go to Crystal Palace. And of course, Crystal Palace did a little bit worse than what I expected, but the good thing for them is they did win a trophy, and that would be the FA Cup. And with that, they get European football, so that's good for them. They did worse, but they also did good as they got European football, so that's good for them. They got money. With that being said, of course, some of their good players are going to leave, like Isse is going to leave because he's going to be very good. So, of course, I don't know if that's good. They still get European football, so that's good for them. With that being said, also, we have West Ham. They did horribly. They're 14th. I thought they'd be above 10th, 7th, battling for European football, but no, it doesn't look like it. That's unlucky. Also, we have Aston Villa. They did better than what I expected. They got 6th, so they barely are in European Conference, or they're in the European Conference, not the Champions League, the one they wanted, but doesn't go that way. They do lose money on that, so that's going to be very difficult. They are losing some of their star players. I think their star striker and goalkeeper are leaving, so that's a little bit on the tough side for that. We also have Chelsea. They really I thought they wouldn't do that good depending on how they did last season, but shockingly they got into 4th place, so that's good for them. Also, could also win the Conference League against Real Betis, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm recording this before that game. Do I think they're going to win? Probably. Do I want them to win? No, I do want them to lose because it'd be very funny and the underdog will win, in my opinion. That'll be very good in my opinion. But they are in the Europa Champions League, so it doesn't really matter for them. With that being said, now it's time for the ones that I did horribly, in my opinion. I thought it would be Newcastle, but of course they did better than what I expected. They barely make it to the Champions League. And for the conference, it looks like it is not on 4th, in my opinion. But with that, Newcastle did win the Carabao Cup, so they did win a cup, so that's good for them in my opinion. Yeah, it's not the best, but they did win a cup and they're in the Champions League, so that's good for them. And now time for the disaster of my opinion picks. I had United and Spurs in the top 5. What was wrong with me? What was I seeing? What was wrong with my brain? And with that, that would be hope and just cloudiness of what happened, because United were 15th and Tottenham were 17th. They were very close battling relegation, and somehow we were able to see a cup between 2 of not the best teams that season. We did see the final. That was very boring, but with that, we did see Spurs win a championship. Also, we did get to see Son win a champion, so that's good in my opinion. I want to see him win at least something, and he won something big against Man United, so Man United will now be clowned on from what I'm seeing. With that being said, I also had Arsenal in the top 4. They were top 2, so that's the only correct thing. But also, we did have Man City. They didn't win it. Liverpool won it, and convincingly. They had 10-point lead at the end of the season, really. Didn't expect that. I thought it would be a lot closer, but Liverpool just won it. I thought without Klopp, they would struggle. They didn't struggle at all. The one who did struggle was Man City. Arsenal couldn't score really at all. They had a good defense, but they couldn't score at all. And we saw that in the Champions League as well. So overall, what did we learn? I should never do rankings again. Am I going to do it again? Yes, because nobody expected this season to be very crazy and teams to do horrible. And some win something they weren't supposed to, like Tottenham. They at least got Champions League, so that's good for them. Overall, for the placements that the tier list had, I had around 5 out of 20. Was that a good grade? No, I did horrible, and that was just me stretching. If I wanted to stretch it, I could have maybe 7 to 8 correct. And that was just my prediction. So, will it be better this season? Hopefully, this upcoming season will be better. We will have to wait and see. So, goodbye.